Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Need for Fear, the Blink game that we play on Tuesday evenings. I am your GM, as per always, Big Lundy, and these are my wonderful little players that are going to help me tell a little story for you today. I'm going to go ahead and give a little update as to the game, because we haven't played this particular one in a little while here. But before I do that, I'm going to go through and have everybody give themselves a nice little introduction. We are going to have one player who's a little late today. That's going to be Keela. She usually plays our wonderful little fairy Nim, who is an illusionist wizard. But she will be showing up a little bit late today because she had to work a little bit late today. It is what it is. Nothing to be done about it. Starting at the top to the bottom, then, we have FRA.
Alright, I'm FRA. I play Ty. He's a half-elf blazing wizard. And he's usually, up the combatant of the party. So he's usually up front in there. He's feeling a little bit down on himself since the party's last plan did not go as expected. We had to retreat, so he's hoping future goes better.
Next up is Lone Wolf.
Greetings, I'm Lone Wolf. I play the character Fair Direborn, the Tiefling Warlock, who is just here to he's here to kill shit and read books. Not necessarily in that order.
You can read books while you kill shit. Multitasking.
This is also true.
And Thorium.
Hello everybody, I'm Thorium, and I am playing Griplep, the Grung Shaman, who is magically connected to the overall situation.
All
why
right.
He's dealing with all these very, very strange, exotic people, like humans.
And half-elves. Halflings and pixies and such. Pixies not as weird as humans. But
Yeah.
I actually don't think we have one full human in the group, so that's interesting. So, Need for Fear. Long story short, on this particular campaign, the group is aware that an old, ancient, sealed, forgotten god has been released from a sort of imprisonment, which was imposed upon it by what appeared to be all the rest of the other gods, at least according to legend. As such, they are trying to track down the various different seals that are used in order to prevent this particular god from obtaining the power that it needs to have in order to carry out its stated purpose. What is that stated purpose? Well, evidently, this particular lost god, Adon, was created by all the rest of the gods in order to clean up after them should the rest of the peoples of the land ever end up getting to the point where they attempt to usurp the position of the gods. What that means is somewhat vague and esoteric. However, there is a current theory that what that probably means is the sort of lack of worship that is going on by the vast majority of the people of the land. As a result of the fact that the country has not really been suffering too many hardships as of late, they found very little reason to maintain any sort of faith in the gods, at least over the past several decades. And as such, faith and worship has been dwindling. And so, the theory is that this has weakened the powers of the gods and caused Adon to be able to be revived by a cult that wants to ensure his success. The group has made their way to Twiland Hill, where evidently there is a lot of information here, a lot of potential cult activity here that they could track down and try to stop or eliminate, as well as several different temples, which are still in use at the moment. And as such, they decided to come here to do some investigative work. During this investigative work, they found out that apparently there were some cultists who were going into the temples and trying to rile up the various different practitioners and all the other people attending into being upset either with the gods or with the people in charge of the temples themselves. Tracking down one of these particular cultists, they found themselves going through the dungeons, the sewers of Twiland Hill itself, and ended up being driven away by the powers of the cultists. Evidently, they are a little bit stronger than what the group was willing or at least ready to deal with. And so the group managed to get out of the sewers and return back to the home of one of their party members, Dylan's sister and her husband.
Before making a bunch of them shit themselves in fear.
True. That is to say that there were plenty of cultists who actually did end up getting the shit kicked out of them, and one that got melted into nothingness. So it's not as if these guys haven't managed to do at the very least something. But total party victory was not the result of this particular investigation. So you guys have returned back to this little home that has been opened up to all of you, and Dylan has had a little bit of time to essentially make up an explanation to his sister that he is here on an investigation of some very odd activity that's been going on, and you guys have been scratched up because, well, there are some ruffians that are about that you are supposed to be dealing with. He has decided not to go into too much detail as to the deeper purposes of why you're here, because he didn't want to frighten her or get her too much involved, or at least not more involved than she already is by electing to give you all a house. You guys find yourselves able to get some rest for the evening, having managed to arrive, and you have a little bit of time to look back on the previous day's events and realize what you could have done better, if anything at all.
So we got a full long rest, right?
Yes.
Goody.
Feel free to get those in. I'll take care of that for Nim and Dylan. The following morning, Ty, you find that Neil is in the midst of packing his things, muttering to himself all the while.
It's super quiet.
Yep,
Yeah.
super quiet. I need you to turn up your microphone if you possibly can.
Oh, all right.
You-
Is it better now?
Slightly, but you could be a lot louder. I have you turned up double, and I still barely hear you.
All right, give me 1 second. I'm gonna try to do it one more time. All right, can you hear me now?
Still pretty quiet.
You're still pretty quiet.
All right, how about now?
even quieter, I would say.
Okay, I'm gonna exit and come back really quick.
Okay.
All right, can you hear me?
You're still kind of quiet.
Damn it.
Check your Windows settings and also check your Discord settings.
Okay, can you hear me?
You are the same volume.
What? All right, this is so annoying.
You like turning shit up and nothing's happening? Like, what's going on?
All right, God damn it. Microphone.
Sometimes other programs turn down the default Windows setting.
Yeah.
Rather than a per program setting.
Still low, correct?
A little better, I think.
Yeah.
Damn it. All right, voice and video. See if that.
Yeah, Audacity used to link it right to just the main volume. It was super annoying. It was only the last update that fixed that, or changed the feature, rather.
Still can't hear me correct, right?
I hear you a little better.
You're a little bit better.
A little bit better.
Yeah.
All right. I know. I'm not exactly sure why it's so bad right now.
I have no idea. We're having the same issue on Sunday.
God damn it.
So like I said, it could be the Discord settings, the settings for Windows itself, like the global settings, or it could be like the per application settings in your volume mixer. Like there's 3 different places that affect an audio level in Windows.
Man. Still the same, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah.
More or less, yeah.
Damn it.
What microphone are you using?
I'm just using a standard computer. Not a special mic.
So it's like a built-in microphone in your laptop or something?
Yep.
Okay.
Interesting. It was working fine before. Let's see.
um Are you using Windows 10?
Yep.
Let's see. So are you going into the sounds icon in your taskbar?
Yeah.
Go to the sounds icon. Ooh, goodness. You go to the microphone that you have set up. And then levels on microphone properties should be set up to 100.
Can you hear it better?
Yes.
It's a lot louder, sure. You are sounding like a blown out speaker though.
You probably turned up your gain, right? Talk some more.
Is it better?
Well,
Oh,
now
now
it's
you're
now it's back to low again.
You got no choice. You got one extreme or the other. But I mean, you found a setting that does something. Just maybe fiddle with that.
And you are now very loud. That's fun.
Any better?
Very quiet.
Thorium, you are very loud, by the way.
Okay, I'm very loud. Okay.
Yes.
Any
This is
better?
going swimmingly so
Yeah, I love tech issues. They're the best.
Oh, yes. 10 out of 10.
Any
Oh,
better?
how about now? Am I super loud now?
You're basically the same volume, Thorium. You're still quiet, Fra.
Well, loud is easier to turn down. That's the issue. You can turn me down. You can't. It's very hard to
Okay.
turn anyone up. Because my gain is all the way down.
Any better?
It's still quiet.
God damn. All right. Now,
Same.
any better?
Same.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. Can you hear me?
I can, but you're the same.
Well, no, it's a little better.
Anything?
Same.
All right. Anything now?
Same.
My gosh, what is that one? All right. Anything?
You know what? I have you turned up to 200%, so we'll just go with this.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, me too.
Because I don't want to keep on this for too terribly long. So long as I can hear you at least somewhat, that's important. Okay. So you approach Neil and you ask him if he's going somewhere, and Neil kind of looks to you with a little bit of a forlorn face as he shakes his head after a moment. I'm disappointed in my performance at the moment. I am responsible with a lot of work that needs to be done in this world in terms of the undead, those who command them, and all those sorts of things. And what we went through in those sewers, it was just some cultists, which theoretically I should be able to handle. But a lot of you, including myself, almost died. It's clear that I'm not ready.
I understand what you're I understand where you're coming from, Neil, but you know, we all, as you said, we all did real bad. We all definitely need more training, but I feel like leaving the group is not really the answer.
I know. It's clear that there's something important that we need to be doing, but I think it's important that, at the very least, whoever can go and improve themselves in a fairly short amount of time, relatively speaking, does so. I am not planning on being gone forever, but I do need to, at the very least, head back to my family and see if perhaps there's something that I'm missing. I want to hone my abilities and make it so that I'm a little bit more useful, not just to myself, but to all of you. If I don't do this, then chances are good the next time we're not going to all make it out alive.
I understand. Are you planning on telling the rest of the group? Or...
I think it'd probably be best if you told them. I'm not exactly one for long goodbyes, and I imagine at the very least Nim might make that happen.
That is very true. Well, I'm not sure if we probably won't stay in Twilight Hills for too long. So if you need to find this, I guess check in with the Emperor or so. Maybe he'll give you an idea of where we're at.
I'll see if Mirwin can get me in contact with you guys again once I've returned.
Thank you. Alright, it was nice traveling with you.
Nice traveling with you as well. It wasn't the longest time, but it was nice to have somebody along with me who didn't ask too many questions.
You know, everyone's got their things they want to keep secret, so hopefully the training goes well, and we'll see you in a bit.
That's the idea. I won't be gone too long, I hope. But if I am, just be careful while I'm gone, okay?
We'll do our best.
That, in the early hours of the morning, Neil makes his way out of the building to go find his home. The rest of you, over the course of the morning, will eventually also awaken. to find that Neil has unfortunately departed.
Tell them that Neil. I wait a couple minutes, to let Neil get far away enough so no one drags back, and tell the rest of the group.
I'm still having a hard time hearing you. Maybe just speak up a little bit. That's maybe the one thing you could do. Okay. Well, Greplep, he certainly wasn't going to. He's not the guy to guilt trip Nihil. Wouldn't be in a position to do that. So, Greplep will just make note of the fact that Shadow Man is gone. Just acknowledge that and move on.
Imagine Dylan will be somewhat upset at him leaving abruptly without at least having a reasonable conversation about it. Well, what's done is done. For his part,
RA says he might have lost audio.
well, that's fantastic.
Isn't it?
I'm absolutely loving all of this.
This is just absolutely great.
He says to just plow forward.
Okay.
He'll be quiet for a bit.
Okay. Well, that's great. So Dylan will kind of sit down with all of you as you're given the news that Neil will no longer be with you, at least for now. And he shakes his head for a moment before saying, okay, well, that being the case, we were already underpowered or undermanned, or however it is that you want to put that, for our last excursion. So we're going to have to be a little bit more choosy, I suppose, in the way in which we approach things from now on. Does anybody have any ideas on what we can do with what we have?
Greplep will say to Dylan in giant. Is a giant expression that says sometime, that basically roughly translate to sometimes when you pick a fight, you end up on the floor. Generally meaning sometimes you just lose a fight. That's it. Don't sweat it.
He nods for a moment before responding in giant. Thank you. But I think we all are coming to understand that already. The important thing is to figure out what to do after we've been put on the floor.
We make enemies run. They could leave a trail.
I don't think it would be a good idea to go back into the sewers to find that trail.
Lots of people around. Maybe ask some. Who would know if they leave quickly?
I suppose. There's definitely people in Twiland Hill who would have a little bit more of an ear to the ground in terms of any illicit things going on, whether or not there's an occultist running around or anybody who's undermining their own businesses. We do have the guilds are one thing, but the more illegitimate organizations, I suppose, would be probably more aware as to what's going on, or at the very least where the cultists might establish themselves.
Don't know guilds, don't know illegitimate, but big tribe here, you mean, right? Big tribe that see lots.
Greplep, have you ever experienced a person in your tribe that doesn't do what the rest of the tribe wants them to do? A deviant, maybe?
With Grung? No.
Among
People do what they need to do. Everyone has a role. My role is shaman.
Okay, so sorry about that, guys.
Yep, no problem. I'm amongst larger groups of people like this city here. There is oftentimes those who do not serve the usual roles. There are a lot of people who do what they're supposed to do, like crafters or farmers or merchants. But then there are other people who do things that the rest of us would prefer they not do, like steal or sell bad things to people that hurt them. They are the bad people in society. And oftentimes, in order to prevent themselves from being caught or stopped, they will form groups that cover for each other. And these groups then become criminal organizations. Does that make sense?
Only human group I know is what you say, Thieves Guild? Legitimate, right?
Not really. A thieves guild would be considered illegitimate.
Oh. Sometimes humans come to swamp. A couple wave their hands like this, and then he will draw basically like a three-pronged X. Say they from Humitown.
Well, maybe.
Sometimes.
The difference between an illegitimate and a legitimate organization in a city like this is whether or not the law recognizes them. That's the difference. So a crafters guild might be recognized by the law as being something which is legal and okay to do and okay to organize around. But then there are people who steal things or kill people, and that is not considered a good thing by the law, and so they are illegitimate. That is the difference.
Okay, how about you sort that out, but we talk to Thieves Guild?
Well, okay, that's kind of where I was going with this. But the thing is I don't really know how to get in contact with those types of people here.
I know them as always have boat. Small boat. Come into swamp with small boat filled with things.
Like what things?
Things they might like hide. Hide in trees.
Okay.
Sometimes like us. An elf, a you, a him. Walking around swamp. Sometimes talk like this. Pigeon. Mark.
It's not really helping me at all, to be honest with you.
I would say if we're having trouble getting the Thieves Guild, should we try contact either Ranger Guild or maybe get the guards informed? Because I do remember they had sacrifices down there, so I'm pretty sure the guards would be interested in cleaning that up because they don't want any cultists in the sewers.
That's true, but what worries me is the idea of getting the guards together and having them essentially scare them deeper underground to a place where nobody knows where they are. The benefit of approaching a group of people who are, well, more or less on the outs with society is that they can keep an eye on what's going on in the sewers without the cultists necessarily caring that they know or can see. if we were to inform the guards as to the dead bodies in the sewers, yes, they will go down there, and yes, there is a good possibility that they will do further investigations, but all that will do is let the cultists know that they need to pick up and move elsewhere. And that doesn't mean they're going to leave the city, that just means they're going to find another place that people aren't aware of, and then we're back to square one.
Idea. Who play flute?
Who plays the flute?
That is me and does Dylan too, or Dylan tells stories?
I'm a storyteller, of course.
Yes, I play the flute.
You play flute. You tell story. I play drum. Let us do this together. People see us. And when people see us, I can show we look for Thieves Guild. Quiet. Only Thieves Guild know is secret.
Okay, sorry about that. Was slightly distracted. What was the overall thesis there, Thorium?
The overall thesis was that we have make a public performance somewhere, and then Greplep will then use that as an opportunity to signal publicly in a clandestine way using Thieves' Cant that he's looking to talk to someone from the Thieves Guild.
That sounds like a very risky idea.
Could be.
Is there any area where Thieves Guild is more likely to be at? Idea?
Not really. I mean, if there was a place that they would likely be at, and there would be a place that the guards would probably patrol more heavily, so they try to make themselves more or less untracked. That being said, if we want to increase the likelihood of anybody seeing us when we're doing this particular performance, that would probably be the center of the city, where the most people tend to gather.
We should go with that. Try finding the nearest place with amount of people and try to suss out some Thieves Guild or crime.
So, current plan, find some way to get in contact with them by doing a public performance and letting Greplep try to get in contact with them with hand gestures, and hope that that works without necessarily attracting the wrong kind of attention. Do we have any backup plans in case that doesn't work or doesn't go well?
Do you think there's any chance of anyone being in jail? I don't want to go to the prison and check any Thieves Guild. That'd be a backfire. We can check with an inn or check one of the popular inns and see if they know the area. You know, get some info.
I could risk offending a lot of people if we start asking them if they have any sort of contacts within an organization like that. But we are going low on options.
I could just make small talk, pretend I'm just looking for interesting tales for a performance, you know, or you can say like interesting stories, and maybe they just tell us a tale of a thief, keep it. I just look for an interesting story.
Well, let's think for a moment. What sort of things would a Thieves Guild be interested in generally? Obviously valuable objects, for certain. So if we could find one of those and potentially put out an idea or float the idea out there that it is going to be, I don't know, in a place that is vulnerable for some period of time, we might be able to draw out some people like that. I know that I know that they're definitely interested in all sorts of different enforcers. So likely there's perhaps some sort of place where, I don't know, they recruit thugs and the like.
Humies always talk about pub. Most fun place for them.
Well, sure.
We could also say like we have a job for them, like oh we need help, I don't know, smuggling something through the sewers. Maybe we can get a guide, pay them.
Oh, this is getting extremely difficult.
Thieves Guild no like cultists, right? Not on same side, right?
Probably not, no. Though their
Then
interests tend
definitely-
to be a little bit different from the most.
No need to offer too much. Just ask. We going after cultists. They no like cultists. Maybe they just tell.
Not necessarily. A Thieves Guild might be aware of their existence and not particularly care. In the same sense that the cultists wouldn't care about them, the guild themselves wouldn't care about the cultists. Their interests don't necessarily go against each other, at least in the sense that the guild probably doesn't believe the cultists are anything more than troublemakers. It's not uncommon for cults to exist and for people to not believe that whatever it is that they believe in is even true. We might be aware that what they believe in is true, but that's not going to be terribly convincing to people who haven't seen what we have firsthand.
Well, you all do tricky talk to thieves to work that out. Do we think talking to thieves is a good idea?
I think that they're the most likely to have a decent idea as to where we could go to get a better eye on the situation.
So we talk to Thieves Guild. Is plan?
It's an idea.
Yeah.
Should do something quickly.
Well, that's what we're discussing, trying to figure out how to move forward here. Okay, so first plan is public performance, try to get their attention. Second plan, go to pubs, see if we can suss somebody out. An agent, a representative, someone who might be able to point us in the right direction.
Or performance in pub?
True, yeah.
Sure, could do that.
Just pretend we're just, doing traveling, bard and the storyteller, whatever. Make that
And our, I guess, grung drummer / dancer.
Well, I thought he would be in the sides, checking out the crowd or anything like that. We're looking for.
Well, we're trying to get attention on him so that he can give the right hand signals that apparently he knows.
That's very true. Yes. Okay. I guess we can go with that first. Should we hit every like? Is there a specific pub we should hit? Go with the more popular ones.
I would like to think that they're probably located just about everywhere. Whether they be the poorer or the richer parts of town.
Yes. They probably will need like information in each location. I say we probably hit which is the like most well-known, popular, and then travel downwards, towards the more TV ones.
Sorry, I had to grab something. Probably hit what?
Probably hit them like more popular or well-known pubs. Higher chance of them having some lookouts there for any, high targets, and then work downwards towards the ones more towards the plains or the territory.
Okay, sounds good. Any other things to go over before we get started?
None that I could.
Apparently not. Okay, let's go ahead and find a place. All right. You guys spend the better part of the day trying to find some place that might actually work for to your benefit. A place where that has a decent amount of people who attend fairly regularly. Now, in the morning, there's not really much business when it comes to pubs. If they do have any business, it's usually people who have been staying there all night or have been there since the night before at the very least. Or people coming off of night shifts and such, and they tend to be the much quieter sorts when the sun comes up. That being said, you are able to find at least a few different places that could potentially host an event for the evening. The question would be whether or not, who would be the main negotiator for this? Trying to think. Probably Dylan. Looking through everybody. Yeah, probably. All right, let me go ahead and do a quick.
Would you like a performance check from?
No. Okay. So of the several different places that you've been able to find, there is one more rundown area in the southern part of the town here, near the docks, actually. That is more than happy to allow you guys to perform, at least in the evening. You are warned that a lot of people generally tend not to pay too much attention to the performers there, so whether or not you actually get anything out of it in terms of payment is going to be up to the people who come by. So essentially the idea is you can perform if you'd like. Whether or not you get paid depends on whether or not the customers decide to tip you, and they tend to be a little rowdy around these parts, so good luck with that.
Okay. So before me and I guess me and Dylan get to work, and we look and grab blood, we do a quick scan of the inn or bar.
Mm-hmm.
Replub, do you see anyone that catches your attention in any of that?
I'll just go ahead and give this one to you. At this particular point of day, there would be nobody here who would look like any of the people that you may have associated with before their grapple up. It's a pretty empty place at this point, at this time of day.
Okay. So I guess we start do the first part of the plan.
So you have acquired a place that you're going to be performing. So the question, I guess, comes from how exactly are you going to be doing the performance? Now, Ty obviously is going to be playing the flute, Greblep is going to be playing the drums, and Dylan will be telling a story, probably rhythmically or poetically to the best of his ability, along with the performance itself. Nim, Fair, do you want to participate in the performance as well? And if so, how?
No,
Nim's
I
gonna
want
just
to fucking participate. Hell no.
So,
Sorry, what was that?
yeah, you both went at the same time there, so. Let's start with Nim. Nim, what were you saying?
no, she's gonna chill in the back.
Okay, and Fair?
Judith's just going to fucking chill around and, like, try to fucking figure. And probably be contemplating about the fucking patron thing.
Okay, sounds good. So, you three then will be coming up with a performance idea, and then that will probably be what you're going to be doing for the next few hours until customers start to come in so that you can start your performance when there are actual people there to watch. So, you guys come up with an idea for performance, and as the first sort of group of customers start to come in in the afternoon, in the like mid to late afternoon, you can begin. So Ty and Greplep, between one of you gets to roll a performance at advantage, and that is how that will work.
Greplub, how's your performance?
I don't have proficiency with that. I have a proficiency in the instrument, the drum.
Oh, okay. I got a proficiency in the performance and with the flute.
Okay, so you should roll.
Advantage.
All right, very good. So, Dylan begins to speak, begins to tell a story about a bit of a body story, one of a lady who is loved by all of the sailors who come into her particular port, very regularly being interchangeably used in a more lewd fashion. As the story continues, Ty is in the midst of playing his flute, and Greplep is steadily doing a bit of a drum beat in the background whilst you guys are scanning the area. Since you guys are going to be responsible for the performance, I'm going to go ahead and have Nim and Fair, one of you two. I don't particularly care which one, but we are going to need a perception check to see if we can't find somebody who looks like they might be relevant to your needs.
And at certain points during his drumming, Greplep will just take his little finger and just sort of slowly draw it over his where his eyebrow would be if he had one, which is just sort of the general thieves' cant signal for I'm looking for someone to talk to.
Okay. All right. Nim's not paying enough attention into the music as she is. And Fair is also probably not paying attention because he's a little bit too busy with his books, my guess.
Oh, okay. Yeah, probably.
I mostly say this because you do not have perception as a trained skill. So you're not a particularly perceptive person, just generally speaking. Over the course of the next hour or two, a decent amount of customers come in. Many of them seem to be more or less fine with your performance. They are not sort of cheering along or clapping along like the way in which a performer might prefer that they do so. A lot of the people who come in here tend to work the docks, and they tend to be very quiet, and they tend to be very tired at the end of the day. And so they're just kind of here to have themselves a nice little drink. But your performance is more than adequate for them to not be terribly bothered by your presence, which is good. You guys take a little bit of a break in between various different songs and such, and eventually, Greplep, you are approached by a fellow who appears to be wearing a bit of a fursuit. And I don't mean that in the furry fashion, where he is dressed up as a giant bear. I mean more in the sense that he is wearing many furs when he approaches you. Many of them adorning...
That's what I thought in the first place. Thanks for the clarification.
Well, that clarification is necessary because this is the internet.
Got it.
He has what appears to be some sort of beastly hat on, perhaps a raccoon of some sort, given the tail on the back of it. A lot of different sort of wild animal furs kind of adorn his chest that has kind of an underlaying of leather armor underneath. When he approaches, he gives you a bit of a click of his tongue before kind of gesturing for you to approach in one of the various different corners of the pub.
But we'll make a sign of acknowledgement in Thieves' Cant. Basically, again, to say, picking up what you're putting down. And he'll just put the drum down, dust it off a little bit, very super casually, just sort of put it away as if he's just sort of taking a little break from his performance. And as he walks over to the booth, he'll just sort of buttonhole Dylan along the way.
I don't know what that means.
That's kind of like when you grab somebody by their shirt and sort of lead them a little bit.
Okay. If you say so.
Well, I mean, it's also an expression like for as if to stop someone from leaving, like as if in a conversation, as if you're holding them by their buttonhole.
Attract the attention of and detain someone in conversation, typically against their will. Okay. So you're essentially dragging Dylan with you to meet with this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Walking over there, just sort of give him like whether he wants to go or not, basically, just
Not a problem. So eventually you guys get over there. You have a seat in the sort of darkened corner of this particular pub with this rather fursuited fellow. And he looks between the both of you with a bit of a curious eye before making a couple of movements with his hands, almost as if to say, "Who's this guy?"
We'll make a signal to basically say, "Friend, contact, looking for deal."
Okay. Well, to avoid talking to myself for the next little while here, I'll go ahead and sum up the conversation here as this Dylan essentially explains the situation that you guys are there trying to find some troublemakers in the area that are not a part of his particular organization. Some folks who have made a home for themselves in the sewers, who have a lot of bad designs for the people of Twiland Hill. He explains that he's not exactly the kind of person who gives people the information that they need, and that if you are looking for such a thing, then there is a warehouse in the southern part of the city where, at least after the sun goes down, if you go in and you find the trapdoor, which is hidden amidst the boxes that are found within, you can go down into the basement of this particular place, and you can find the people that you're looking for in terms of actually being able to help you. After the conversation wraps up, Dylan kind of thanks him for his time and then looks to everybody else and relays this information, essentially saying, yes, we will be able to find some people in the warehouse, but I'm not entirely certain the types of people that we're going to be encountering whilst we're there, so do make sure to keep an eye out, be careful. This isn't exactly a group of people that you can trust.
Yes, I agree. So just to clarify, what will we get from the Thieves Guild is just information of where the cultists have gone to, correct?
Where they are, what their movements are, being able to pinpoint their base of operations in the sewers, things like that.
Okay. And I'm guessing we probably won't get this information for free, so how would we go about it?
I'm not entirely certain at this juncture.
Because Ty looks in his inventory, see if he has anything that's worth some money. He's like, I don't really have anything that I say would interest the Thieves Guild, really.
It's possible we could volunteer to do a job for them in exchange for this information.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. Maybe provide our services if they really need it.
Hopefully it's not something too terribly distasteful.
Yeah. Alright. And they said if that we only go in at night for the warehouse.
Yes, which thankfully we've about reached that that point of the day, so
I turned to Nim and Fair, like, alright, what do you all think? I feel like moving forward with this plan, or anything you want to do before get going to the Thieves Guild?
Bubble shake his head no.
Alright, I guess we'll move forward.
okay. You guys make your way over to the warehouse that you were directed towards, given the fur fellow, and upon entering, you find that it is suspiciously quiet, given the fact that this is supposed to be a place that you're going to be meeting a decent amount of people to. But perhaps it's constructed in such a fashion that you'll be able to whatever does happen here is more or less closed off from the rest of the city from being able to investigate. Doing a little bit of investigation, you were pointed to a certain set of crates that apparently hide what appears to be a bit of a trapdoor. They are not terribly difficult to move out of the way before you then open what appears to be a very large tiled door in the bottom of the floor. Opening it up, you find a very long set of stairs that actually leads downwards into a kind of very dimly lit area. Following down this particular pathway, you find yourselves very slowly hearing a lot more noises as you make your way down. You hear the sounds of cheering, the sounds of laughing, the sounds of what appears to be some sort of very vibrant music, before eventually coming across a door at the end of this particular set of stairs. Opening up this particular passageway, what you see before you appears to be a very large area. It is incredibly spacious, and the reason for this spaciousness becomes pretty clear pretty quickly, as you note that a lot of people are currently standing around what appears to be an arena of sorts that is inlaid underneath the establishment. There are a couple of people who are currently within the arena in the midst of some sort of fight, and there are a lot of people gathered around the place that are currently cheering for whoever they believe to be the most worthy of the two combatants, for one reason or another, whatever their arbitrary reasoning may be. Looking around, you see that there are a lot of folks here who appear to be more or less dressed up in all sorts of various different bits of armor. Everybody here seems to be more or less ready for a fight at any one given time. It seems that there's no rule or guideline against bringing weapons into the place, because the vast majority of people here, even if they don't have an explicit weapon on them, very likely seem to have at the very least a dagger at their sides. Anything that they need to defend themselves just in case somebody else gets rowdy. I guess the idea here is that if everybody's armed, everybody is safe.
As we find our way in, if anybody gives us any side eye, Replup will flash the Thieves Guild Thieves Cant for we're all cool, I guess.
You perform several different hand gestures to indicate that not only are you a person who is in the know, but also a person who has several different friends with you, counting them on your fingers before making your way through the crowd here. The crowd itself is very boisterous. Most of them don't pay you guys much heed as you make your way down there. It seems that you are neither the first nor the last people who will be making their way into this particular establishment. Looking around, there are a couple of indicators as to, at the very least, places that people tend to congregate. Being around the arena is one thing, but there is also what appears to be a bar area where a lot of people are putting down bets for various different competitors who are going to be competing in said arena. And there are a number of different tables that are set up for people to sit and relax and enjoy some drink and such. So, I guess what are you doing?
Alright, so I was looking around this boisterous underground bar. Is there any area where there's like someone you can see like the leader stand out? Some area where they can clearly see who's in charge, I guess?
In terms of a leader, what you're able to see, sort of at the other end of the establishment, there is a distinct lack of lighting in this area, and even with your dark vision, it only goes so far before it ends up sort of fading. But you do see what appears to be the shadow of some sort of fellow who is sitting at the other end of the arena proper. He is sitting on top of what appears to be some sort of makeshift throne, and there are several different individuals who are also standing around him. All of them appear to be shrouded in a shadow of sorts, and they appear to be observing the events with great interest.
The arena events, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Greblin's attention and point towards the guy sitting in the throne. He's like, him? Should we go talk?
Greplep will nod. You all do talking.
Okay. And turn to the rest of the group. Okay, guess looks like we're gonna see if he can help us.
We're just gonna go talk to the leader of this place.
I mean, they seem focused on the arena, so I wasn't sure if we could go talk to him and try to get something out of it, or should we, I don't know, show ourselves off and get some clout to talk to him?
I just don't know if it makes me a little bit nervous approaching someone who is supposedly going to in charge of a lot of people who don't particularly care too terribly much for the law. And as somebody who is more or less a nobody to him and presuming to have the privilege of his attention.
Do you think we should try to find someone lower in the ladder? Maybe just...
That's what I would assume.
Okay, I guess I look around. Is there like a person who's like a bartender in this? Or is it
Yeah, like I said, there is a bar area that a lot of people are congregating around that appears to be a place where people are putting a lot of their bets down. It's also the place where people are grabbing various different drinks before they go over to their various tables.
Is there just one bartender or more than one?
There appears to be more than one, but there are a couple who appear to be handling most of the drink orders, and one fellow who seems to be in charge of all the various different betting that's happening. He's collecting a lot of money, and he's also doling out a lot of money, which indicates that he probably has a decent amount of trust within the organization, if he is being trusted to handle all of this.
Okay, so I look at him, it's like, okay, I turn to Greblup, I'm gonna go talk to him first. We might need you for the Thieves' Cant, and maybe Dylan can translate that part.
Yep, well, we'll make our way over there. I mean, you can tell Greplep is clearly, he doesn't speak common, so he's not going to be doing the heavy lifting for the conversations here. But we'll be there to kind of be your credentials, pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys head over to the bar area, and you head over to the bookie, who looks to all of you as you approach, in the midst of counting a decent amount of money that's been put down for the next bout. Welcome, welcome. How can I help you guys today? If you need drinks, you gotta talk to the others. Outside of that, my ears are open.
Yes, hello. So, we're pretty new around here. We just came in here to see if you could provide us some information.
Uh-huh.
So, I'm not sure if you know, there's a little bit of a sewer problem in this city.
Yeah, there's been a massive increase in rats.
Yes, that too, but it's also, especially blue rats, very tough things to kill.
The fuck's a blue rat?
Okay, I was trying to see because the Dragonborn or whatever we met in the sewer, they were blue. I was trying to see if he got any type of recognition in his eyes, but I guess not. Have you seen a cultist in the sewers? Is that what I'm talking about?
I see a lot of people who believe all sorts of crazy things. You're gonna have to be more specific.
There's more than one. Have you seen multiple cultists? There's not just a group that's...
Like I said, I've seen a lot of people who believe a lot of crazy things.
Alright. Any recent people taking people, sacrificing them? Pretty recent.
Sacrificing them, okay. No, I have not seen that. Not specifically, anyway.
How about this? Our group here, we're trying to, do our own little job, and we just need help navigating the sewers. Is there any way you could provide us with, some map or guide through the area so we can, clean it up?
Oh, yeah. I can go ahead and tell you that all you need to do is follow your heart.
Oh my. Okay. Ty's face is getting a little bit mad, trying to hide it, but there's a little bit of vein popping up.
I just love the audacity, you know. You come in here, you come over to me, you say hello, and then you say, "By the way, can you just let us know where some people are? Get us to track them down. Provide a map for me. Put an X on the map of the people that we're looking for. Maybe send a guide with us. Hire somebody on our behalf." You're not approaching this with the fucking levity that it's supposed to be approached with, big you fucking knife-eared son of a bitch.
And then Ty just laughs a little bit loud. Well, as I was. Alright. So it seems like you want a back and forth. No problem. I see you're taking bets. What's the bet for?
Right now, we've got a couple of different people who are going to be going at it. Bets are kind of off for this next fight, but if you'd like, you can go ahead and put one down for the one after that. Got apparently some fella from a monastery coming by checking his skills, and got another fella who's, kind of a regular around these parts.
Interesting. And you said we can place some bets on them, right?
Yeah, you can.
The monastery fellow, he's due around these parts?
More or less, I'd say.
Any information? Alright. I'll place a bet then. And after I place this bet, would you be more willing to continue this conversation? Maybe we can do an exchange.
Sure, we'll do an exchange.
Alright. I turn around to Dylan and Grapple up. I'm like, alright. I'm clearly not the guy for this. Because I need some. Or I turn to. And also turn to the whole group and like, alright. We're getting nowhere. I'm gonna place my bet. I place my bet on the monastery fellow. Let's see, how much money do I got?
Good question.
I guess yeah, I'll do 10 gold and 8 silver. That should be good.
Big fucking spender over here. A whole platinum. I like it.
Okay, as soon as he says that, I look at the other people betting. Is anyone actually betting that much?
A decent amount. The normal betting here seems to be like in very large bags of gold.
Okay. Like, well, I'm sorry. I'm new here, as I said.
You're new and you're poor. Both very horrible things to be in this environment.
Interesting. Okay. And I'm guessing all this money is yours then? You must be rich.
Money belongs to the organization, but I certainly got more than you, dipshit.
Alright. And this fighting ring, can you fight anyone? Or you,
Anybody can enter.
and can you challenge anyone?
Nah. Challenges are open. You enter, somebody else decides to take you up on your offer. That's how it works.
Is there an entry fee?
Nope.
That's nice of you. Alright, and I still place my bet anyway. On the monk, whoever's supposed to be playing.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Sir, we're really just trying to find some people who are going to do some horrible, horrible things if we don't stop them. I'm not trying to be too much of a bother. Well, you know, I'm kind of here doing a job. You guys come over here, you start demanding information. We're not demanding anything, we're just asking questions. Yeah, asking questions. As if me answering them isn't something which costs. How much do you want to have a normal conversation about what we're looking for? I don't know, your pixie might be worth a pretty penny. You're not getting the pixie.
Name. And I'm a fairy.
Pixie, fairy, whatever.
She'd stick her tongue out at him.
A couple will notice this and see that it doesn't seem to be going great just based off tone. can't really contribute one way or the other at this point, so we'll just we'll see if it. You'll start scanning the room and seeing if it just goes really badly. Is anyone being particularly too attentive to them, or getting ready for hands-on weapons, that sort of thing?
There are a few people who are kind of keeping an eye on you guys, but there's nobody who's like making a move.
Okay. The Gripple will keep an eye out for that at least.
Let's see, if you wanted to actually just pay me for information, it's going to depend on the information. Given what you've got, given what you want from me, I'm thinking if you wanted to know where a bunch of yahoos are currently hanging out who think that they're top shit right now, then maybe 100 gold will do it. We do not have 100 gold. Oh, well, that's so horrible for you. Doesn't that sound somewhat exploitative? Supply and demand. I have information, you demand it, I have the supply, and so I determine the price. Well, it's worth nothing if we don't actually pay that price, now is it? I have a feeling that you're interested in paying this price.
Alright. Ty, hearing this, come back and say, you know, I never asked. What is your name, sir?
You can call me Gunther.
Gunther. Alright, Gunther. Nice to meet you. So 100 gold. Is there any way we could do something else that's worth 100 gold to speed this up?
Like I said, you could sell me your fairy.
Besides that, you have nothing else that you need for 100 gold, or something that could replace that.
I'm not exactly the job guy, and all of you are new. None of you have any sort of reputation that I'm aware of. I don't even know if you can do a job.
I turn to Grapple Up. I'm like, Grapple Up has some connection. See if that speeds up this transaction. So, proof of reputation.
Okay, Greplep will look at that. He'll look at Gunther. He'll hop up onto the counter.
Get the fuck off of my counter.
Chill.
You chill. Get the fuck off my counter.
Listen.
No, get the fuck off my counter.
Greplep will reach over with his foot and pull over a stool really slowly, and then settle himself into the stool. And then he'll make the pose that he sees humans do, where he props his elbows onto the counter, folds his hand and then leans his face onto his hands. We look for bad people.
So I've heard.
Bad people hurt you too.
Haven't hurt me yet.
How you say common enemy.
They haven't hurt me yet. I don't give a fuck.
We'll take a look over at the arena. Arena looked fun.
Does it now?
How about we fight something, and then you give information? You can keep what you say winnings.
You want to do a group fight, do you?
You'll tap like a coin on the desk. You trade this for that, right? Tapping in the coin, pointing to the arena, right?
Sure.
We go fight. You keep this. Then we chat. And some of this is going to get somewhat translated through Dylan, where he might be looking for the word.
Okay. We can do that. As a note, there is always the possibility that you could just die in there.
all
True.
these fights are to the death, huh?
Not all of them, but a group fight tends to be.
Well,
So
show we risk something.
that's
Risk something. And show that we tough to follow through.
But what if the other opponents they say, "Oh, please spare us"? Is that our choice, or do we kill them?
I doubt that's gonna happen.
I'm saying that's why I said, "What if?" I didn't say it's gonna happen. Then what if that does happen? Is it our choice, or we just have to kill them?
Sure. I guess that would be your choice.
Okay. I turn to the group and I'm like, "How we all feeling?" We're all fine with this group fight to the death.
Sure, we already had one yesterday.
That's why I'm asking, like, do you want to keep it individual fights? Less chance of dying, or group fight?
Epilogue will fight or we all fight. Fine, either fine.
I'm fine with either individual or group.
More fun fight is group though.
Alright. Lynn, how about you? Or Fair, how you guys feeling? Group fight?
I said yes.
Oh, okay, sorry, I didn't hear you. Alright, I guess let's go.
All right. I'll have you knocked in for the next one then, and we'll have ourselves a nice little bit of fun. Got a couple of fights before that, though, so feel free to chill out for a little while.
Actually, on that point, can we take a 10-minute break?
Sure.
Oof, Gunplay's a dick.
He's a criminal.
I know, but come on.
What do you mean, come on? Don't tell me come on.
Well, he's officially on Ty's shit list.
You come in, you have zero reputation, he has no idea who you are.
So while this was happening, did this is gonna be a fun fight?
Why possibly? Figure, lighting.
Oh yeah, just checking. We're still level 4, correct?
Correct.
Alright.
Thorium called for a bit of a break, for a quick break, so he can take care of something. We have not talked about scheduling changes just yet, Keela. In fact, I'm still not entirely certain what this new schedule is going to be. It's going to be pretty much dependent on David. But I did mention that I was thinking of potentially moving a game to the weekend if that ends up working out for him and everybody else. Since I know that you don't work on the weekend. Later night probably wouldn't be the best, and I'm mostly thinking of David on that front since he is in old Britain land. Later evening games are difficult for him. I know. I don't know what his job is either. I only know that he's in old England. And they live with an incorrect clock. So I don't know. I think he works night shifts. I think that's what he told me. Go.
I'm back.
Welcome back. All right. So you guys have a decent bit of time to just kind of like chill out before it is your turns. So there are a couple of fights that are going to be happening before you guys have your own turn. The sound of the crowd being more than sufficient to give you an indication as to when particular bouts are either reaching a bit of a climax or their end, as various people cheer, boo, or anything in between.
We just lost somebody.
Did we?
FRA. Oh, you popped.
Just absolutely killing it with the technical issues today.
Yeah, I know. I'm so sorry. Can you guys hear me?
Oh, fuck.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Better
Better in the sense that you're louder, but you also sound like you're in a very large room and echoing. So it's interesting.
Interesting. Okay. That is so weird. Can you hear me better?
I mean, yeah, you're definitely a lot louder.
But still, tin can room.
Yeah, basically, it's very strange.
Okay, that is very weird.
I don't know. I kind of prefer it this way just because it's just so much easier to hear you.
You prefer this better?
Yeah. I mean, the other way doesn't sound like it's a tin can, but it also sounds incredibly quiet. So I guess
Just let it ride. We'll just turn you down a little bit. That's
yeah.
So sorry, guys. I'll try to get this fixed by next time.
All right.
all. I had to deal with it yesterday. I don't touch anything or do much, but shit just goes wrong. Yeah, that's life. Moving on.
All right.
And fortunately, Ty, you end up making an extra 10 gold off of your bet because you bet correctly. The martial artist who competed in the fight before you guys managed to win his bout in a very flashy and showy fashion, as there was a lot of jumping and flipping involved as he managed to maneuver his way around the fairly battle-hardened gladiator who wielded a spear and shield. Managed to avoid most of the strikes and get many of his own in, slowly wearing down the larger fellow before eventually finishing him off with a trip and a bonk to the head.
Nice. So an extra 10 gold, right?
Yes, indeed.
All right.
If the martial artist passed by, Replep will just say, "Fun," at him.
Martial artist kind of looks to you with a little bit of a perplexed look. Looking at him, he seems to be of the very traditional sort, dressed in kind of like almost these sort of flowing, loose-fitting clothes, carrying what appears to be a fairly well-constructed bow staff with him. He gives you a bit of a nod and says, "Yes, it certainly is. I'm sorry, I have no idea what you even are."
Replep.
Grablep. Okay, very good. Are you also competing today?
Yes.
Well, good luck, I would say. You can call me Vincent. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Good to meet you. Like the way you jump.
Thank you. It is something that I've invested a lot of time in learning how to do well.
Most humans bad at jumping. Like them. Points to his companions.
Well, some people consider jumping a waste of energy. It just kind of depends on the way in which you fight. Some people are better at maneuvering, and some people are better at squaring off. Just depends on what you're good at. After all, you have a fairy friend, and I'm pretty sure she prefers to fly as opposed to jump.
Gotta
Ooh.
fly.
I like to jump.
Well, I imagine you do. And if you'd like to do it, you're probably very good at it.
Yes. I am good at it.
It's likely you're going to have to continue to be as good at it as possible. I have heard whisperings that group fights tend to be quite messy.
We fought before. In group.
I should hope so. It's not going to be easy, but I wish you the best.
Good luck. Nice use of stick, too.
Thank you.
Greplep use stick. Sometimes.
I'm interested to see how you all do. You'll probably stick around and keep an eye on how your particular bout goes.
Will do. Be fun. Be happy. Be Vincent.
That won't be an issue. You guys are approached by a couple of attendants, both of which appear to be dressed in fairly normal leathers as they approach. Appears to be a man and a woman as they give you all a nod and gesture for you guys to follow. And they lead you down into the sort of preparatory area for the arena before sending you off into the bottom of the arena proper. During this particular process, Dylan is going to go ahead and cast Aid on everybody so that you all have an extra 5 hit points.
What the fuck?
Got Mage Armor on Nim.
This one. Yeah, I'm gonna cast. False flag, second level on my.
Okay.
Oh, I see what happens. If you add aid, adds to your max. Now, it does not give you temporary hit points, but adds to your max. So if you put that under the plus max in the character sheet, it
Yeah.
looks as if it causes damage, so you just adjust it.
Yes.
Okay. Done.
Okay.
No, what, that doesn't... Oh, fuck's sake.
Heading into the arena proper, you get a better look at the folks who appear to be sitting at the front of the arena itself as well. There appears to be a very large horned fellow with what appears to be an almost bull-like head sitting upon the throne, and next to him appears to be a much more petite and slender elven-looking lady who is looking at all of you somewhat expectantly. After a few moments of you entering into the arena, the gate in front of you opens, and a very large beast begins to emerge. It gives off a very loud and very intimidating sound as it begins to come out. It looks like it has been sufficiently annoyed by whatever handlers it has in the back.
Oh, that's big.
Ooh.
Begins to dig its very large feet into the sort of dirt below as it begins to kind of like swipe large chunks of earth underneath it and back behind it as if it is preparing for a charge, looking pretty annoyed.
Hey. So we got Triceratops. Alright. Seeing it, getting ready to charge and all that. I look back to the group and like, everybody stay scattered. Do not staying, try to really getting crushed by this big thing. Looking to the left of us, the Minotaur and the person. Is that just whoever's sitting on the throne and watching?
The Minotaur is sitting on the throne. The other person is standing next to him.
Okay.
All right. Feel free to roll those initiatives.
Dylan, you got initiative. Dylan, too. Yeah, so...
Okay. That's going to start us off with Dylan. He's going to go ahead and move himself to the side following your order to scatter. And as he does so, he's going to go ahead and cast Bless to increase the capabilities of Greplep, Tai, and let's go with Fair.
What up?
Greplep, Tai, and Fair will all have the Bless effect on them.
Okay.
That's a D4, correct?
That's a D4 onto all of your attacks. Or yes. Attack rolls and saving throws, specifically.
Okay.
You put the effect on us?
Nope.
I have it as a spell. Maybe I can do it. I'll just not burn a slot on my own.
I have no idea why it shows up for some people and doesn't for others. It's very
Maybe
strange
give
to
it a
me.
try. Who had the bless on them?
Tai, you, and Fair.
One
Nim,
moment.
what are you doing, man?
We are going to scatter a bit from the group, but she's very small, so hopefully it's not going to notice her and want to charge her specifically. And we're going to hit him with a Ray of Frost.
Okay, sounds good. Let's see. Is that 60 feet? I think it is. Yep. All right, 14 will hit. This thing is not terribly difficult to hit with attacks. For a total of 4 damage there. Very nice.
And its
So
speed is reduced by 10 feet.
yes, indeed. Putting its speed down to that. Good
Yeah,
stuff.
I can't do it either.
Yep.
Deal with it.
Greplep, up to you. The two, so Dylan and Nim have both scattered. Dylan has buffed you guys, and Nim has slowed the beast. So far, so good. What's your plan?
Okay, let's check my range here. Yeah, that'll do it. Alright, he will... Taking cover behind these rocks, he will take a careful aim with his bow at the big monster. So, pop that out.
Okay, 16 will hit. Big old ray of frost goes out and covers the creature with ice. Manages to shake off most of the ice, though a lot of the ice still remains around its feet area, keeping it nice and slow. And you go ahead and let off a nice little follow-up attack with a bow, landing straight into the side of its head, where it chinks out a little bit of extra damage.
I'll take a bit of a save. DC Con 12 save or
He fails. All right, so it takes a little bit of extra poison damage as it gets pretty mad. And then it's going to be its turn, as it is going to go ahead and do a little bit of a very annoyed charge over towards Ty. As it does a sprinting action to make its way right over here to the first person that it can possibly see. And it's going to try and do a trampling charge. So, Ty, I'm going to need you to make a strength saving throw.
Oh, I can make it that far? I was hoping them to slow them down now. So, alright.
It has a base speed of 50. And this can be done on a charge attack.
Okay. It says strength saving throw?
Yes.
Oh, man.
You have an extra D4 on top of that. As a note. Very good. That is going to be 11 altogether, which is not going to be enough as you get knocked prone. I didn't hear a dang thing you said.
Oh. No, I was saying I use shield, but that doesn't count. So that's not an HP.
Still not hearing a damn thing that you're saying.
Okay.
You sound very muffled, Ty.
Yes.
All right, give me a sec.
Can you hear me better?
Yes, much better.
God, that's so much better.
100% better, right?
Yes.
1,000% better.
All right, perfect. So, as I was saying, using shield won't cancel that prone attack, right?
No.
Okay. All right, then.
It just forces you to make a save. That's all that does. Ra-ta-ta-ta-ta. So that's going to be an additional follow-up stomp for 23 to hit.
Ooh. I should have used my blade singing, but I did not. That was idiotic. 23 hits.
Yep, for a total of 27 damage. Looks like it's already been taken off of you.
Yep.
As it stomps straight into you, causing you to, well, take a massive Triceratops foot to the fucking chest.
You just see kind of spill out blood. It's like, holy crap.
There is a collective ooh from the crowd as you get stomped in the chest. Thankfully, you guys did a decent amount of buffing beforehand, so that does not count you out. So it is now your turn, Ty.
Son of a bitch. All right. Then, getting up is half my movement, correct?
Yes.
All right. So I get up. Still feeling injured. I use bonus action to cast Blade Song on myself. Where is it? Yep. And then I cast, well, no. Oof, yeah, I have to attack. And then I'm gonna attack. Well, actually, scratch that. I won't do Blade Song. I'll just do an attack. Regular. Go by Rapier.
All right, that is more than successful.
All right.
As you successfully manage to stab into this thing's very angry-looking face.
Perfect. Oh, I forgot to add the D4, but it doesn't matter. I still hit. Alright, 11 damage.
All right.
And then, as a bonus action, I'm going to cast Expeditious Retreat.
Didn't you use your bonus action to activate Blade Song?
No, I can't. I mean, I changed my mind last, so.
Okay.
Yeah. Doesn't cast that. First level. right?
Okay.
It's a bonus action, so and now I can move. Wait, actually, wait. To move, I can still move 20 feet, so I'm gonna move 20 feet in this direction. Mhm. Yeah, right here.
If that's a dash action, that's a disengage one.
Yes, but he also has the
Mobility.
feet. He has mobility.
Gotcha.
That's
Okay.
why I had to attack.
Gotcha. Don't mind me.
Yep. And I can still take the dash action as part of it, right?
Not as part of it. Expeditious Retreat allows you to do that for the next, I believe, minute.
Yes.
10 minutes.
10 minutes. As a bonus action, right?
Yes,
Okay.
but not on the turn that you cast it because the casting itself is a bonus action. So you can't use a bonus
Gotcha.
action to cast it and then use another bonus action to run away.
Understood, yeah.
Alrighty, that brings us over to Fair. Fair, you're the one that's closest to the thing right now. If you stay there, I'm guessing you're probably going to end up getting charged the same way that Ty did, and you're a lot more fragile.
You know, I think I'm not going to fucking be here anymore.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go over here
Okay.
and just say fuck that. Because for some reason, I don't think that Fair would take very kindly to being stomped. But I am going to cast Hex on this thing, and I'm going to choose Wisdom saving throws, so it will have disadvantage on Wisdom saving throws from now on. And shit.
You said wisdom saving throws?
Yes.
Okay.
And then I'm also, and that's my bonus action. So now I'm going to fucking hit this thing. Fuck.
Actually, yeah, we'll do that instead.
Yeah. I'm gonna fucking do Toll to goddamn dead.
Okay, that gives it a disadvantage on his wisdom saving throw.
Yep. And since it's got the, it's been hit, right?
Yep, that's why I said disadvantage on a saving throw. So it's going to go ahead and fail that saving throw, so you feel free to go ahead and roll the full damage on that.
Yay, and it's 1d12 because fucking, just fucking fun time.
Alrighty, there you go. 10 damage done.
And then plus the hex. That's a nice one.
Very good.
Oh, it slid over at least on my screen, it slid over as a 5, then hit the corner and rolled on back onto a 1.
All right. You guys have taken out a decent amount of damage to this thing so far. It's still pretty mad, but it's still not even. It's not even bloody at this point. It's just pissed. Just pissed off right now.
Uh-oh.
Dylan is going to. Okay. Understand that. So it won't work. So I guess he's going to go ahead and do. Let's call it a Sacred Flame. Of which the beastie is not going to be able to do save, so he will be taking the 5 damage from the Sacred Flame from Dylan as he goes ahead and calls out to it and says, "Burn!" And he is going to make his way over here underneath the throne, while also looking up to the two people who are observing and going, "Hi there!" Nim, over to you.
So she can fly and has opted to fly up 30 feet in the air to be out of charge range because she don't want to get squished.
Sounds like a valid idea.
Right.
Yep.
It's, you know.
Ty looks at Nim's like, take me with you.
I can't carry you. You're too heavy. I'm sorry. However, she is going to use a chill touch. Does a 14 hit?
14 does indeed hit.
And I can take 5 damage.
For a total of 5 damage onto the Triceratops as a skeletal hand emerges from you, Nim, and then wraps around one of this thing's horns and comes down and starts entering into its head.
Yep.
Causing it to roar in pain and protest.
She waves at the Minotaur and the elf lady. Hi. I like your horns.
They both just kind of look at each other somewhat confused as to why two of you now have spent time during this particular fight saying hello to them. Greplep, that brings us over to you.
So, question first. These over here look like they're elevated spikes here, right?
Yes.
On the wall. How high up are they elevated?
Probably about like 10 feet.
Okay, so that's enough to. The hell? Give a good old jump over here, and then. Short bow.
Very successful attack right there.
And
Roll 7 damage on that, and then we have the poisonous skin. It's going to go ahead and roll its con save here. It will make its con save.
okay, that concludes my turn.
All right. Ceratops is still pissed off. Nim's flying. Closest person is Ty.
Damn it! I was hoping to avoid another one. God damn it.
You move 20 feet away, so it's moving 20 feet towards you. Go ahead and give me another strength check versus being knocked prone.
Please. This might not be good, guys. Strength saving, right?
Yes. Hey, 16 will do it. As you prevent yourself from being knocked prone.
Oh, thank God.
So he does not have advantage to attack you. That's still going to be a 17 to hit as he tries to get you with one of his horns.
Shield. I'm definitely using shield this time.
Okay.
So that brings it up to 20.
You get knocked back a step at the sheer force of this thing as one of its horns comes over towards you. You see it's about to hit you, and you bring up an arcane shield to take the brunt of the attack as you get pushed back a foot or two from the sheer impact of the Triceratops blowing itself into you. And then that'll bring us over to you.
Whew. Right. So, seeing that he's so close up to me, I'm like, stay away from me. Then I'm going to attack it with my rapier.
That will be a successful attack with your rapier.
Alright. Then the damage.
Ooh, nice maximum damage. I like it.
Perfect. And then I still have 40 feet. That's gonna be 40. And then I have bonus action, which is another 40, right? Or is the dash even?
A dash is double.
Wow. Okay. Damn, I have 80 feet then, but I don't have to use the full amount, right?
You do not know.
Okay, I just move another 40 and end my turn.
All right, with magical dexterity, you find yourself making your way all the way across to the other end of the arena, leaving this thing in the dust. Fair.
Yeah. Time for fun times. Oh shit, he looks very close to me. I don't like that. We are going to go around the fucking pillar, because fuck that. And Fair is going to see that this thing. Well, how is this thing looking? Is it looking at all like it's fucking taking damage, or?
Yeah, it's looking kind of bloody at this point. You guys have been hitting it with your various different spells and arrows and stabbing it in the face. It's not looking great.
Okay then. Great.
Still a massive fucking Triceratops, though.
That is very true, and I don't really think I want to fuck with that. So we're gonna fucking guiding bolt it, because fucking reasons. Oh wait. What the fuck? God damn it.
Well, 6 is not going to do it.
Oh, shit.
Now you're D4, but I guess it won't help.
Nope.
Exactly.
Even if he rolled a 10, it wouldn't hit.
Oh damn. Oh, okay then. That's all I got then.
All right, so repositioning, throwing a guiding bolt. This thing ends up getting deflected off of the Triceratops's big old shieldy skull. And then that brings us back to Dylan, who is going to go ahead and maneuver himself up here to stay as far away from this thing as possible. And I think he'll throw another Sacred Flame at it. The Triceratops will once again fail its check as he takes an additional 7 damage from the Sacred Flame. As yet more holy energy gets poured into it and causing it to roar in protest. Nim.
I guess me. Alright, we're still hovering. Okay, I need to know, because she's 30 feet in the air, how far away he is from her. Would it be 50 then? The ease of...
Given this, Pythagoras would say somewhere probably between 20 and 30, something along those lines.
Okay. Perfect. Because, we're gonna use not a cantrip right now.
Okay.
Hurting her friends. I cast a magic missile.
Ooh, a Magic Missile. Go ahead and roll the damage on the Magic Missile. That can't miss.
36 feet away.
Good to know. All right. So a few magical bolts hover around you for a moment as you summon all of them through your chanting, and then you hurl them forward as all 4 of them end up nailing this thing straight into the side. Boom, 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 boom. As the creature then begins to kind of like cry out at you. For looking in your direction, seeing that you're flying and more or less out of its reach. Is looking kind of pissed off about that. I also don't know the sound the Triceratops makes. Greplat.
It's thought that dinosaurs actually would probably sound like very bassy storks because they have the vocalization structures of birds, not
Yeah.
Mammals.
I don't know what that sounds like though. Like it's a very alien sound to me. Not honk, not honk. That's not no.
Can you just have him say, "Oh, fiddlesticks" instead? Like, our Triceratops apparently can speak.
Oh, fiddlesticks. I'll say it. Triceratops ain't saying it. Grublap, up to you.
Okay. A question here. This grate that it's standing on, does it have a hinge on it?
A hinge? Like, what do you mean?
Like something that you would hit and it would drop down?
No.
Okay. So
It
just a
appears to
solid
be
grate.
it appears to be embedded into the wall.
Okay. Well, then we're going to keep it simple then. It's not
Well,
advantage. Let me do that again.
there we go. That'll hit. And then it will succeed on its poison check.
Yeah, that'll conclude my turn.
All right. Well, you are at the very least something that it can get to, so it is going to go ahead and charge over to you. Now, it's not going to be able to do a trampling charge since you're kind of elevated, but it is still going to try and gore at you. Ooh, and that is a crit.
Whoa. Uh-oh.
You are down. As the Triceratops looks angrily over towards Greplep, having shot him for a third time, comes over and then uses its horns to then impale Greplep and then just toss him off of the spike that he had been standing on.
Wow.
Ty.
Again. You can grab up. I'm like, no, not again. And then I can't get close because I'm not in a position to be more helpful. You know what? I'm going to cast Scorching Ray.
Okay.
Let me see, make sure.
That's going to be a no for the first one. I believe that gives you 3 attacks, yeah?
Yeah, but does the D4 apply to this or no?
Yes.
It does? Alright, let me try it and roll.
It'll apply to all of them.
Will I roll a 4? Would that help at all or no?
It could, if you roll a 4. You do not, so no.
Alright, second one.
Second one will hit.
Okay, damage.
It's in for a total of, looks like 6 fire damage on the first one there.
Okay. And then next one.
Next one is 15. That will also hit. Go ahead and do the deep stare. Ooh, for additional 10.
Hey.
As gouts of flame emerge from your hand and start surging their way towards the Triceratops, and they end up hitting it a couple of times. One of them managing, kind of overshooting it a tad, but the other two managing to pepper it into the front of the chest, making it feel real woozy.
Right.
Anything else for your turn?
Let me see something. No. Nothing else for my turn. I'm just going to stay where I'm at, yeah.
All right, fair. That brings us over to you.
Oh, joy. And it looks like Greplep is down, so that's wonderful. How's this? Oh, the Stegosaurus is not having a very good day.
Nope.
That's unfortunate.
Triceratops.
Whatever.
They are very different dinosaurs.
I know. We'd be in more trouble, I believe.
I get, shit. So, like, how bloody is this fucking thing?
Really.
Oh, goody. Fred's going to come out here. And he's going... I've got a couple ways I can fucking do this. Do I want to play the trump card, or do I want to fucking do something fucking cool?
Just make sure if you mess up, you don't have no way of coming back.
Oh yeah, that's true. I don't like that idea. So,
Cool. Go with the cool option.
so
Says
we are going to fucking... I've got a way of making sure that this fucking shit doesn't fucking happen. Hopefully, if everything goes right. But we're gonna start this off by fucking tolling the goddamn dead
Okay.
on this thing.
Let me throw a disadvantage.
Yep.
It will be rolling a 4, so that's going to fail.
Yay! And it's going to be the 12 guys fucking reasons. Plus the hex. Another one! Yay!
For a total of 7 damage. All right. Well, the Triceratops has been attacked by a decent amount of people right now. It's taken a lot. Taken fire. It's taken ice. It's taken necrotic. It's taken holy damage. It's taken several arrows. It's been stabbed several times. It is just bleeding from all sorts of different orifices before eventually Fair comes over to toll the dead once more at the creature, and it wobbles on its feet for a moment as it is surrounded in this sort of necrotic mist that then ends up tolling a nice little bell that only it can hear, causing it to collapse to the ground.
And immediately, Fair's going to tap Breathlap and cast fucking Spare the Dying.
Probably a good idea. Though, Dylan is basically immediately going to be making his way over here to bring Greplip up.
Yep.
Let's go ahead and cast a healing word real quick over on Greplip for a total of... Healing word, cast, normal. Well, whatever. Point is, it brought you back up. Even if it's only for 4 HP.
Greplip will immediately jump up and go, yeah, and then do like imitate one of the flying jump kicks that he saw that Vincent do. The Triceratops. Then throw his hands up like he did that.
Dylan kind of puts up a hand real quick. Is just like, Greplip, you might want to calm down. You just got impaled.
He'll look at himself and look at the fact that he's covered with dirt and very bloodied, including some of his blood on the horns of the thing. Oh. So then he'll just go over, start to walk away a little bit, then dash back real quick and give it a quick kick in the shins.
All right. The crowd goes wild at the success of the felling of the massive Triceratops. They were pretty happy to see any sort of blood being spilled, whatever that might be. And in this particular instance, it seems like it was the Triceratops that came out on bottom here. As you guys succeed, the Minotaur who sits on the throne gives a small signal with his axe, tapping the butt of it onto the platform that he's sitting on, and you all are more or less announced as the winners of this particular bout. This allows you guys to then make your way back up through the waiting area of the arena, back up to the top where the rest of the... Whoops, that's not the map I wanted to go to.
Made it all the way to the top.
Where everybody else is located. So, you have emerged from the arena successful against the Triceratops. Several of the onlookers and spectators give you guys pats on the back as you come out of the arena. Giving you some congratulatory signals of all sorts. One person pats the back of Greplip and immediately kind of keels over.
And regrets it.
Regrets it immediately as they begin to feel nauseous and then fall to their knees. And then people realize not to touch him.
He doesn't feel great to hug. I'll learn that the hard way.
Well, he might have patted the armor. He might have been. It's funny. I think turn around and give him a friendly pat back. Like, all right, thanks, buddy. You can feel a bit worse for a moment.
I turn to Greplip. I'm like, Greplip, could you when we get up to Gunther, give him a handshake, say good deal, and then take off your gloves. Just for fun.
Okay.
Right.
I guess we'll all make our way over to Gunther. I guess that's what's going on next.
Yep.
Okay.
Gunther gives you all a bit of a grin as you make your way over to him, and he offers a bit of a shrug and nods to you. Welcome, champions of the arena, I suppose. Well, not quite champions, I guess. It's a little bit more complicated of a process to get to that point, but at the very least, you took down a big old beastie that can't think.
Yep.
All right. Well, I know we came to an agreement, but I'm going to have to renege on that agreement a little bit, because it's not me that's going to be helping you guys out.
Then who would be the one helping us?
She should be here soon.
Okay. Could you tell us more about this person we'll be working with?
You saw her. She's a pretty fun lady to get to know. Just don't be disrespectful. It's probably wouldn't bode well for your future health if you did.
And as soon as he said that, I'm like, what? Is it the lady we saw on top of the arena next to the big guy?
Yeah, that was Morgan.
I'm guessing she's the right-hand man or whoever.
Well,
A woman, I guess.
right-hand woman, I guess. Not really. It's more along the lines of she handles a different section of the organization.
Okay.
She's on equal footing with old horny boy. But handles a different sort of distribution network.
I see. All right. Well, I suppose, Gunther, thank you for your help.
Not a problem. I hope you guys had fun. And he looks over to Greplep real quick. He looks like he had a lot of fun.
Yes, he did.
Thanks, pal. Then he'll hold out his hand as if to offer to shake it.
No thanks.
So he'll,
Okay, did he say that because he saw the person who touched Grublup fall, or he just doesn't like shaking the hands?
Who
That'll be
knows?
like an insight check.
it's not going to matter because Greplep's just going to then tap him.
Oh, son of a-
Well, he'll avoid you tapping him.
He won't press the issue.
Oh,
He'll just slowly hold the hand out in front of him and then move it around doing like I'm not touching you thing that you do to kids. And then he'll leave.
yeah, but don't push it. Don't want to fight anybody.
Takes a couple of minutes, but eventually you are approached by the lady that you saw before. An elven woman dressed in what appears to be fairly well form-fitting green armors. She approaches all of you with a bit of a smile on her face and says, "Congratulations, you fought very hard."
Thank you. Heard from Gunther that you'll be the person to talk to about our inquiry.
Sure, I suppose that's the case. He informed me a little bit as to what you came here to try and find out, and I found that to be a very interesting, let's say, subject to investigate. If you wouldn't mind following me, I have a private room that we can discuss this in a bit more, I suppose, in a more intimate setting.
Lead the way.
Lead you through the crowd for a little while before eventually coming across a big iron door. She gets out a key from what appears to be her sort of belt and unlocks the door, opening it up and ushering all of you in before closing it behind all of you and re-locking it. She leads you down the hall behind this particular door, and eventually you find yourselves entering into another room, which appears to be a kind of a mix between a bedroom and a lounge area. while it does have kind of a place to sleep, it also has a fairly large place to also congregate, with what appears to be a couple of different couches, as well as a very comfortable-looking cushioned seat, which she deigns to take a seat in before regarding all of you with her eyes. What an interesting night. First time seeing a grung, personally, at least firsthand. First time seeing a fairy firsthand. And I get to watch you all find a Triceratops. I can see why a lot of people spend their time here.
Oh, you don't come to this arena often?
I do whenever I have business here. Sometimes I'm invited to stay and watch for a little bit, and some of the bouts can be interesting, but for the most part, I find all of them fairly samey. It's always at least some big guy or some small guy, and the small guy tries to outmaneuver the big guy, and sometimes they succeed and sometimes they don't. Or it can be two big guys going at each other, at which point it becomes a matter of them just slamming into each other's bodies over and over again until one of them falls down. It gets a bit boring over time.
And I'm guessing the big guy you were standing next to is the champion of the arena for this period?
Champion as well as the overseer.
Nice. Gunther said you handled the other part of this organization.
Well, other would indicate that there are only two parts.
Well, okay. Because I know, you you guys are very I should say, it's a big organization. I know there's more than one. Just curious what you do.
I myself handle, let's call it distribution.
I see. So I'm guessing you're probably very familiar about the area we're trying to, go to.
I am. I am also curious why you, specifically, are here for that reason.
Oh, I thought. I guess he didn't tell you. We're here, just the very bad people have taken, roots in your sewers, I would say, and they're doing some evil and, I would say, ungodly things down there. And we're here to make sure, put a stop to it.
Many would say that all of those descriptors also match my particular organization.
Ungodly, you go through. So you sacrifice people in the pools of blood?
I wouldn't say we go that far.
Then you're okay.
Okay. So you claim that these ne'er-do-wells are sacrificing people in pools of blood?
Well, at least the ones we saw and killed some.
Okay.
They definitely have some bloody ritual going on there.
You're also not from here, so I'm guessing you didn't see them do it here?
No, they did it in the sewers, and I take out my piece of paper, that badly drawn map that I drew, and said, we followed one of them into this sewer near, and I described the area we went through, like outside the church of the library, and how we followed him into the sewer there.
Mm-hmm.
Probably very bad directions, though. She looked at the very badly drawn map.
And this does not particularly answer my question. Because you came here specifically to track these people down. So what were they doing outside of the city that got your attention so?
Before I answer anything, I looked to the rest of the group. I try to get a hint of, I'm like questioning look at Dylan, Nim, and Fair. Do they give me do you guys agree? Is it alright for me to tell her? Well, I'm not gonna tell her about the whole Emperor thing, but it's like, is it okay if I talk some more? I don't know if actually, that's too complicated to do through head signature. Scratch that. I'm just gonna say, yeah, scratch that. I'm just gonna say, yes. While we were, enjoying a festival in what's the name of the place where we started off? Air.
Conquer.
Yeah, There was a festival. We all met up and enjoying a festival in Concord, and we ran into some cultists there, and they did They pretty much tried to kill everyone in that town. We didn't exactly put a stop to it. We fought some of them, trying to kill everybody. We fought against them, trying to stay alive, and they summoned a god, pretty much an evil god who wants to destroy the world. And we're like, well, that's bad for everybody. We don't want to die, so we followed them here. They're probably doing a similar ritual where a lot of people are probably going to get sacrificed for that, evil god who wants to destroy the world. But yep.
You saw this evil
Yeah.
god firsthand.
Did we draw? Yes, we. I'm like, yes, we did. Who drew the picture of Aiden? Like someone drew a picture of him, or we had a picture of him, or was that just from the lore drop?
I don't think anybody drew a picture of him.
I think that you're thinking of when Greplep was trying to communicate with Dylan about this, and he was using some symbols from his dreams, but it wasn't like a full articulated picture. Maybe is that what you're thinking about? I mean, it's been some time.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yes, majority of the group, and I'm turning to the rest of the group. We all saw him, right? Only Nim and Fair probably can say yes.
Nods. He flew out of his imprisoned place, and it was not good. It was very scary.
Troubling. But also, I don't see why you would lie to me, so... I find myself in a rather strange situation in which I find this too difficult to believe, and yet I have no reason to disbelieve it.
Yes, sadly, we didn't, I can draw what he looks like for you, and what the cultists look like for you.
Oh. A drawing wouldn't, of this particular god you speak of, would not really add any credibility to it. It would just make it seem more fantastical.
Okay. Do we have anything from the cultists? Masks? Anything at all?
We have a fairly simple description of their followers with the dwarf dragon things.
Yeah.
Speaking Draconic, and some of the symbolism. There's always going to be symbolism and markings involved in a ritual.
Oh yeah, true. I remember we did draw a picture of a symbol, they drew in the houses before they started this whole sacrifice thing. I showed her that, have you seen this around any Violent Hill? These symbols on houses or areas, because this was spread around Concord before they started their ritual. If you see these around, not a good sign.
Well, I haven't seen any of those, thankfully. But I also don't really do a whole lot of scouting on my own. I'll see if my people can be a little bit more aware. Keep an eye out of what you're looking for here. So, you're telling me that you came here and fought a Triceratops just so that I can give you a map of the sewers?
Well, yes, a map and any information you have on these people.
Well, I can't say that I have too much information on them as to their movements and the like. It's not exactly been a priority. Took them for a bunch of kooks, more or less. As long as they weren't bothering with our operations, we didn't see any reason to worry about them.
I see.
Greplep will say they cause problem everywhere.
So it seems. Well, you've managed to get a meeting with me, and I will be taking all of this into consideration. I can get some people on the scouting part of this, but I don't have the information that you need just yet. You can acquire it, but it's going to take a little bit of time.
Is there any way to, I don't know, expedite that? Like, do you not have the map or of locations, or you just?
Not one that I'm willing to share with outsiders.
Hmm. Is there any, I don't know, any way to earn your trust? Maybe.
There
But we do-
is perhaps one thing. I have a shipment that has gone missing. If you could retrieve that for me, then I could understand that you are at the very least interested in working together on this front. Meaning that when you have information which could potentially put my own people at risk, I know that you're not going to do anything to harm them or deter them from their jobs. In the meantime, I can also do a little bit more work in actually tracking down these people and seeing what I can do about putting them in a position that you can approach them in the way in which you desire to do.
Replep will say to Dylan, "What is a job?"
It's when someone has a task for you that you wouldn't normally do, and in exchange for doing this task, you receive either money or something else that you want.
But they say they do jobs. Keep them from doing jobs.
It's like if... How to put it? It's like if there were people out there hindering your tribe's hunters from hunting.
Oh, job. That thing tall people have.
Well, you call it maybe a role or duty. They call it a job.
Okay. Got it. Pretty lady. I like the green under the eyes. Tell her that.
Thank you. This is translated to her.
Replep will lean over to Dylan and say, "Ladies like compliment."
Yes, I imagine so. Give you a better look over here. So this shipment of yours, if we retrieve it, then you're willing to work with us? Yes, that would be correct. Okay, so where would we be going to retrieve it? Well, therein lies the issue. I'm not entirely certain where it got lost. Okay, so are we going to be going on the road at all? Yes. You will be going on the road towards Riverdam. Somewhere between here, in Twiland Hill, and Riverdam, the shipment got lost. And what does the shipment look like? 4 barrels filled with a particular substance.
Particular substance, as in, substance for ingestion, or
Well, certainly most people do ingest it.
Okay.
What look barrels like?
They look like any other barrel.
Hard
And
to
just-
find then.
any specific smell, chemical makeup? Do they catch on fire easily? So to make sure we avoid certain, reactions if we do find them.
They are wooden, so I would prefer that you don't catch them on fire. They are filled with a substance that is not terribly dissimilar to sand in makeup.
I see. And you said people eat this, so I'm guessing too much is bad for everybody, or specifically certain individuals are more prone to it. Anything like that?
Sorry. Could you be a little bit more clearer on your question?
You said so. Like, to check if it's the same thing, how would we know it's the correct sand material?
It'll be colored blue.
Colored blue sand. Okay. That seems that seems very unique. So. And do your crates have any marks that says it's your property? Like someone.
There will be a well. You might find it on a wagon. There are supposed to be 2 regular humans driving it. Both of them are, well, I wouldn't say that they are my top people, but they are supposed to be fairly well trained. And if you do find them outside of the wagon, then likely they will be tagged with a symbol indicating that they are meant for baker's consumption, which would indicate that there is going to be a mark on them that is not dissimilar to a bonfire.
Okay.
I would prefer that all of those be brought back without any sort of without any of it being missing, if at all possible.
Very well. And you've had no contact from the 2 humans at all.
I have not, which is why the shipment is missing.
Very well. We'll keep an eye out, and we'll go through the main road and see if we can see anything that can give us a hint of what happened to your shipment.
Names of human?
I believe they were Bart and Steven.
Bart. Okay.
Both of them dressed in the same black leathers that you'll find most of my men dressed in.
Very well.
And the shipping route was the main road, correct? Nothing
Correct.
outside the usual.
Okay. Good.
And Stephen, dressed in black, on the road to River Ram Daft.
Riverdam Raft, but it's fine.
River Ram Raft.
Close enough.
So they left River Ram Raft and they're coming to Twiland Hill, correct? Or they
Yes, they were supposed to be leaving Twiland Hill and going up to Riverdam Raft.
I knew I
But
can get someone to say it wrong.
I don't know what you're talking about.
He said River Ram Raft.
I didn't, but okay.
You didn't, he did.
Ah,
Well,
All
just
right.
a little meta joke on that name of that town. Don't mind
gotcha.
it. In our other game, we have one player just cannot stop saying River Ram Daft. Just can't.
So, find my shipment, bring it back here, and I will endeavor to make sure that I have everything that you need to continue forward.
All right, very well. We'll be leaving first thing tomorrow morning then.
Very good. Can't wait to see how you prevail.
Yes. And thank you for the time. We'll see you in a few days. I'm not sure how long the trip is, but as soon as we're done, pretty much, you'll see us. And then I guess we walk out.
You're going to need me to unlock the door for you.
Oh. So yeah, Ty just goes to the door, tries to open it. Yes, please.
I swear, it's like you don't even pay attention. She gets her keys out and unlocks the door so that all of you can leave.
As they're heading out, Greplok will say to Dylan, "Tell her she looked good in green."
You look good in green. Tell your grung friend that I appreciate the compliments. She appreciates the compliment.
Replep. And heads out.
As we're walking back towards the thing, Ty looks at Dylan's like, "Hey, Dylan, was Grapplub hitting on her?"
I think so. He called her a pretty lady first, and then told me to give her at least 2 compliments, one on the green under her eyes, and the other in, well, her outfit.
Oh, interesting. All right.
I didn't think Grebleb saw people in that particular way, but I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yes, wasn't expecting it, huh? So good to know.
I don't even know how that would work. I mean, you can't even touch them, so that
That is true, actually. Yes, it'd be an effort. You had to wear gloves, make sure all.
you'd have to wear a full suit. You can't.
Yes.
You need a mask, a helmet, probably.
Yeah.
I just don't see. I you know what? It's probably best not to think about it too much.
Actually, now I can't stop thinking about it. You should ask him later on. How does that work for him?
I don't think I'm going to do that.
Well, all right. All right. When you really need to teach him some more comments.
What do you mean when I need to? I don't think that's going to be a necessary conversation to have.
It's a fun one, though. You know? We'll talk about this later. And,
All right.
Later, never. It's all the same.
You guys then make your way out of the warehouse in the underground arena itself, and find yourselves heading back to the home that you have been allowed within. Yeah, Ricky and Wade's house, right? Ah, gosh. Okay. So, you guys arrive back at home, and you are able to get a little bit of rest in before you head off to find a shipment for a rather shady lady.
Yep. We're now friends with Thieves Guild leader.
Well, friends, quote
Not
unquote.
friends. We're acquaintances.
They are aware of you now, which can be a good thing or a bad thing.
Yes.
Okay. I don't really want to leave Dylan out of this. I will say everybody can go ahead and get themselves a long rest in, since, you know, you expended some resources.
And someone got killed and came back.
Yeah. Briefly.
Definitely need that.
Grapple Up took 50 damage on that crit, by the way.
What?
Yeah.
That will kill any of us. That could kill 2 of us, actually.
It hurts like a bitch. It do.
I know. I probably
So that's like
probably...
very close to what has essentially been a saveless death. Like,
Oh, wait.
Very close.
I think getting stomped in the head by a fucking Triceratops is going to be very good for one's health.
No. But that wasn't even a stomp. The stomp was on Ty. The horn was Greplep.
Yeah.
So yeah, as a note, if you end up taking more than double your HP at any one given point, you just insta die. You get no saves. That's how that works. So, thankfully, it wasn't enough for that. So,
dangerously close.
Damn. So what did you need? Like 52? Like 2 more points?
no, you need 64 points of damage to instantly kill Greplep.
Okay.
But yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and say that all of you will be allowed to gain a level.
Cool. Yes. Yay. Level 5.
Experiences are good for those enlightening moments.
Mm-hmm.
The, just out of curiosity, the reason Greplep is so he understands you need to flatter elves. It's just something he thinks is something you have to do.
Griplep runs very much based off of stereotypes. Stereotypes that only he is really aware of.
They wild elves. They love flattery, right? That's been enough.
Maybe.
Enough stories. They just love to.
Maybe they only like flattery from other elves.
So pretty, you're so cool, your magic is so great. That's just something that, and in the fairy tales I remember reading over my lifetime, they seem to be very
the Fae folk just like compliments. Why don't you compliment Nim more often then?
I think I did, didn't I? I tried to be friendly with her.
More often is what I'm saying. Daily basis, just like, Nim, you're looking great today. That's how you avoid getting cursed. That's how. All right. While you guys are figuring out your level and such, I'm going to go ahead and do affirmations real quick. So starting at the top to the bottom, FRA. Anything for you?
Yes. I said, Lenny, very good job with double speaking of Dylan and yourself. And I love the conversation of Greplup. Now I'm very curious
It's an
to see
excellent
that.
increase for Nim. Awesome.
A very good increase.
Taking the chance and paying off. I don't have those guts, though.
Hell yeah.
Every time I do the roll, I suffer for it. So I don't do it anymore.
Full on 8 more HP for Nim. Very nice. Speaking of, Keela, anything for you?
I really did enjoy Graplep's attempts at flattering the elf. It was very amusing.
Given the source, might be more off-putting than flattering. Who knows?
Wow, so mean.
As far as I'm just like, oh, he wants to slam her, right? That's what's going on here. I think that was kind of funny that was just that's what you do, right?
And
It's just yeah. Three times rapid session. You called her a pretty lady. You said that you like the green under her eyes, and the green looks good on her. That in any other scenario, that's definitely flirting. Just saying.
It was spread out throughout the conversation. I took it more like Griplo was trying to involve himself in the conversation and doesn't have a lot to say in terms of the other goings on. I'm just trying to think about my level now, but yes, I thought that was a bit fun. We had to.
Oh my gosh, I got 2 to my health. That sucks.
I'll do my affirmation now so I can focus on the level up then. I really liked the way everybody did combat very well. Everybody sort of locked on to the idea of, hey, this thing is tough as hell, but there's only one of it and a lot of us. Spread out and hit it at range. And eventually we'll, barring anything horrible happening, we'll probably win. I thought that was I thought that was very good. Yes, it did.
A couple of horrible things happened, but
A couple of horrible things happened, but we won.
yeah, that's the important thing.
We understood what we needed to do to win. We did it. I thought it was very good teamwork with that.
And Lone Wolf, anything for you?
Honestly, I just love the fucking flattery of the fucking elf, because I literally just thought, my first thought was, why is Greplup trying to flirt with the freaking lady?
So we want something from her, number one.
Yeah.
That's number one.
Yeah.
Yes, people are presuming you want something else from her.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that has been today's session. We may be moving Need for Fear to better accommodate our players here in the future. I will be updating probably the Discord on that when we do. But yeah. Thank you guys for coming and all those sorts of things. These guys will continue to level up their characters and finish that up. Let's hope it goes pretty well. Looks like Ty rolled a little low on HP.
Yes, it was horrible.
Not great.
So bad.
I'm taking the coward's way out. take an average.
Absolute pansy. So stay safe, everybody. Don't die. Remember, the world's a better place with you in it. And I will be back tomorrow with Astral Wars, hopefully.